And so we go and we sit down on this concrete block in the front of this big building, and we're just like sitting there, and he's like, so, how are you? I'm like, I'm hungry, Paul.
Things were skyrocketing downhill, and there was no way she was getting me into that Mexican restaurant until I stinking proposed. What's up, guys? I'm Paul.
I'm Morgan.
And this is
the Paul and Morgan Show.
Today's topic. We are discussing engagements.
It's been exactly 1 year since he proposed.
So, I had been seeking the Lord on, should I ask Morgan to marry me?
After climbing a mountain, that sounds kind of funny, I climbed a mountain, I felt the Lord speak to me and say, Paul, my blessing is on this.
I start planning her engagement. I'm not normally a very, what's the word?
Romantic guy.
I wasn't gonna go that far. I'm not big on surprises, but I wanted to try to surprise Morgan.
We'll go to, it's Poor Richard's bookstore in Frankfort, Kentucky. I took her, we walked through it on our first date. What better place?
I say, Morgan, meet me there. I'm just thinking it's gonna be me and her. I'm gonna get her into that bookstore. Things are gonna go super smooth.
It wasn't just me and him, my entire family.
Love you, Holly family. She gets here and she's like, my whole family, well, almost my whole family, is right behind me. And I'm immediately going to panic mode.
My sister and I are talking like, we're really hungry. Let's go walk down to the Mexican restaurant and get a table for my whole family so we can eat.
Who knows how long that's gonna last?
And he's like, well, could we just like meet up with them? And I was like, no, Paul, like, I haven't seen my family in forever.
A recipe for disaster.
Guys.
Because I put my foot down and I said, Morgan, I'm not quite hungry yet. It sounded super selfish. And I said, we're going on a walk.
And I was so mad.
She doesn't like going on walks when she's well-fed, well-rested, well-everything.
So I'm like, Paul, how could you be so rude? Like, you don't want to spend time with my family?
Don't you know I'm human too?
Tonight, lady, I'll do my best. Put on my best suit.
So then he was like, let's go to the bookstore real quick, just like down memory lane.
Dude, she was giving me the hardest time. She was having none of it. And I was having none of it because I was gonna get her in that stinking bookstore, get her in the stinking chair next to the candle that I lit on the upper floor, next to the book that I camouflaged and was gonna pull out for her to read.
I pretty much dragged her there kicking and screaming to the top floor of that bookstore.
I mean, I was like about to cry. I was like, why are you being so mean, Paul?
But at least she wasn't on to me.
I was not on to him.
Miraculously.
So he's like, let's pick a book out and I'll just read a little to you. And I was like, read to me? No, Paul, I don't want you to read to me. And I literally like said it like that.
She said it exactly like that. And I said, babe, I'm gonna read one chapter.
Okay, so he goes and he like looks through, and this is on the bookshelf with like all these other kid books. And he's like, oh, this is one of my favorites. And he picks out
An old copy of Winnie the Pooh. And that's the book that I had tinkered with and gotten ready. So I pull it out. Chris is in the corner kind of acting like a creepy old man with his you know,
and I
shirt
totally
up like
saw
this.
him. I didn't recognize him at all.
I sit Morgan down in the spot Chris and I had agreed upon for the good pictures.
And I'm sitting there like this.
She's ticked.
I literally was sitting like this. I wouldn't look at Paul. I wouldn't look at the book.
Right, guys? Can you sympathize with me a little bit? Can you like give me a little pat on the back that I was able to stick with this and not fall to pieces?
I open up the book.
And I'm just like,
In her state of mind, she was not about to pick up on any of my clues. I start reading. We get through page 1. She's not enjoying it. Page 3, and this is where it gets good. We flip over to page 4. I wrote down in my neatest handwriting, right in the middle, I said, just then, 4 words popped into Pooh's head. I love you, M.
and I'm still like this, and Paul like nudges me and was like, look at that. Nothing made sense.
He asked me, he's like, can you read this next page?
I had her read this. I had her read this.
I was like, Paul, I don't want to read. And he was like, babe, just want this one page. And I was like, ugh. So I was
She gets to this part.
Ain't nobody in the world but you and I, Pooh mumbled to the wind.
She reads her favorite song lyrics
I was like,
in a Winnie the Pooh book.
all I said was, that's cute.
She says that's cute.
And
All
then
right.
he goes, can you turn the page?
I had her turn the page.
Like,
So by this time, Chris is suddenly right in the middle, like a paparazzi.
I got down on my knee and I said, I'm crying a little bit. I said, Morgan, Renee, Holly, I said your middle name.
Okay, yeah.
Will you marry me? And what did you do?
Thank you, Lord, for giving me the strength to persevere even in the midst of a hangry, crazy woman. So there you go. Give it a like if you enjoyed this video. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't.
And comment below. Tell us what your favorite part of the story was.
You guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Paul and Morgan, over and out. My voice just cracked like a prepubescent.